After the glamour and excitement of the World Club Championship, it's back to Super League action this weekend. And first into battle, two teams hell-bent on the points for different reasons. Castleford are threatened by the drop for the first time. London haven't given up hopes of the league title. It might be a distant dream, but London still have the Super League trophy in their sights. The only side realistically who can catch Bradford, but they must win here. The Tigers, though, are in their richest vein of form all season, and when it's mattered, they've come up with important wins, notably against fellow strugglers. Last time out in Super League, a vital victory over Oldham, claiming a win after looking dead and buried at half-time, dumping the Burrs to the foot of the table. Stuart Raper's heading a Castleford revival that could yet see them survive, and he's proving a shrewd signing by the Tigers board. Jason Critchley arrived from Keighley and is already the club top scorer, 8 tries in 9 appearances. He's added the strike power. And Aussie Brad Davis is another filling a vital role. Kicking goals had been a big problem until the Aussie moved in from Wakefield. The ink isn't yet dry on Tony Curry's new 2-year deal at the Broncos, and he's on course for their best finish in history. Victory in a bruiser against Oldham on Tuesday pushed London up to second in the table, and they intend to stay there. A season that has produced so much for London, victory against Canberra, but they'll never forget the day they beat mighty Wigan. Greg Barwick's been a thorn in the Tigers' side before, notably 28 points in the club record haul last year. Sean Edwards and Mike Ford have been best of enemies throughout their careers. They began at Wigan together. The half-back duel could hold the key here. It was close at the Stoop in June. This could be a great game as the run-in begins to the end of the season. Yes, the run-in to the Super League title starts right here, and by the end of August we'll be crowning new champions. Mind you, come the end of play on Sunday, Bradford Bulls could be home and hose, but that all depends on the results and the way things go this last weekend. Let's check out the way the tables look as we approach this weekend in the Super League. After all the excitement of the World Club Championship, Bradford Bulls came home to find that their lead at the top of the table was cut to 8 points by London Broncos' victory over Oldham on Tuesday. Castleford Tigers at the other end, well, you can see how important this match is for them. They really must win because time is running out for them. Well, one man I'm sure who hopes Bradford will be just about champions on Sunday is Matthew Elliott, the coach of the Bradford Bulls, who joins us here at Weldon Road tonight. And Matthew, I suppose because of that and the fact that come Sunday you could be champions or thereabouts, you'll be a big Castleford fan here, won't you?
No, I was always taught not to clap when someone hit the ball out in tennis, and you know, I want to win this season or win the championship on our own merits, not on someone else slipping up. So, mind you, I think London have got a very tough task today.
Well, they have, because they came home from their matches, or rather, they took part in their matches in the World Club Championship, 3 in 11 days, excuse me, and then Oldham on Tuesday. Now, I mean, it's a very difficult job for them to back up, isn't it?
That's a tough fixture list to come off, and to come up against a side that's, you know, in a rich vein of enthusiasm and desperate for 2 points. I don't envy them at all.
You had a pretty bad trip home from Australia, didn't you? You were telling me before, 40 hours before you eventually got to your bed.
Yeah, it was a Nightmare on Elm Street revisited, actually. And it was pretty scary, I guess, when you got guys like Paul Anderson flying around as well. So, no, but the boys came back into training today and they looked healthy, and there was a bit of banter going on.
I'm sure so. Well, talking of nightmares on Elm Street, how about the nightmare on Weldon Road? Here he is. You were expecting that, weren't you?
I love you too.
But Steve-o, this is really the start of the big run-in, isn't it? I mean, Bradford, despite what Matthew says, they could be champions on Sunday.
And I think they probably will, because I think that London will struggle tonight. It's going to be a difficult task for them. I was down at the Stoop on Tuesday night, and I can assure you it was a tough encounter, especially in the forwards. And I think that the forwards tonight will hold the key, and it's whether the London Broncos can, their pack can last out the full 80 minutes. It won't be easy for them, because it was a tough encounter against Oldham.
Yes, the London Broncos, would they be maybe along the same lines of Wigan's not too long ago, that they had to win so many games in such a short space of time? Of course, this time it's a question of just keeping hold of the Bradford Bulls, not going out and winning the title necessarily.
Yeah, well, it's a problem that we've had to encounter for so many years, and we keep saying it. We should cut down the fixture list. We should not have to play more than one game of rugby league in a week. The top athletes want to perform at 100%, and I'm afraid when you push them out 2-3 times a week, you're not going to get that. And that is wrong for the fans. It's wrong for the viewers, because we want to see these top athletes performing 100%, not 97.5, not 50 or 60 and taking risks. We want to be out there 100%.
Well, I'm sure that Matthew Elliott, you would say hear, hear to all of that, wouldn't you?
Well, it's the first time I think I can remember agreeing with what Steve was on about, but I've been whinging about it for quite some time, and I can only reiterate what Steve said there. And as I said, I don't envy what London have to do tonight, so we'll see how they go.
We will indeed. I'm imagining that you've come back from Australia in your leg of the World Club Championship, and you're happy now to see 17 games played, 17 wins, and 34 points, because you have had, let's be fair, you have had a magnificent season, haven't you?
It has been a good season. The last month has been very testing one for us. So we came up against some very good quality opposition, and when we underperformed in a couple of the games. But it's nice to get back in the domestic competition, and it'll be nice to bring some of those new parts of the game that we've accumulated over the last month as well. So it's been a pretty positive experience for us as well.
I'm sure it has. It was a big shock to Steve-O and I, and I'm sure to the rest of the rugby league public, that you did go down to 6 defeats in the World Club Championship. I mean, why is that? Because you've rolled over everything that we've got up here.
I guess, I mean, we were close in a couple of games, and there was a couple that we should have probably won, but in the end there is a little difference between the northern and southern hemisphere, and I think for me the big difference is the pace of the game. It's not the fitness of the athletes or the ability of the athletes, it's just the pace. And for players who have played in both hemispheres, if you talk to them, when they've come from the north into the south, it's taken them a month, at least, to pick up the pace of the game. And we perhaps in this last little bit just didn't get the pace of the game, particularly in the first game. Mind you, in the last 2 games of this series, we played really well, and I was really proud of the players' performances.
And that's good, because if they had won their 2 games, Steve-O, up here that we think they should have won, Penrith and Auckland, I mean, it would have been a totally different scenario that we were looking back on now.
Yeah, and I'm sure that that Matthew realises that they had the opportunity, and remember they were down to the 12 men. I think it was Auckland where they had the opportunity, and I thought that perhaps the tactics went astray on that particular night. But I suppose when you think about it, Matthew must be very happy with the way that the team has gone throughout the season. So why change things? Okay, it was a bit difficult for me. I couldn't understand him, perhaps, trying to change against the Australian sides. Only this fellow will know. But you can't change your attitude when you've got a team that is rolling forward. And they are by far the best that we've got in Europe. They've shown that. They have just steamrolled over every other side in the European League. They had a very talented outfit, and it's very difficult for a coach and the players to change midstream, and perhaps it was asking just a little bit too far. But as he said, I'm sure that he has learned from especially the last 2 games down under. The first one, well, we forget about. He knows that they all played badly, and we were bitterly disappointed.
Well, that was Bill Harrigan's fault, wasn't it?
I wish I could blame someone, but we've got to look.
Well, we did.
Listen, Bill Harrigan, okay, you can blame him so far, but look, he doesn't have to do the tackling, and I'm sure he was disappointed, but he says the last 2 games they come back, and that's built the confidence to start again, because I think they are worthy champions. It's a big ask for London to take them all away. Let's hope that they do, because it would be great to see a competition go right the way through to the last round. But I think it would be most unfair, because of the quality that the Bradford Bulls have displayed this season in the 2nd season of Super League has been quite outstanding.
Well, an outstanding season indeed for the Bradford Bulls, and Matthew, you must be relaxed now. Even Steve-O has given you the championship.
Yeah, well, that frightens me, actually. He can't make sense, that much sense, in, twice in a row.
All right, I've had a bet. I've had a bet, if you must know. I've got a couple of shillings.
I'm sure that's all it would be as well. All right, let's take a look at the other fixtures now coming up this weekend, shall we? And of course, Bradford against Leeds is probably top of the bill on Sunday. But before then, we've got Paris against Halifax in Narbonne. Kick-off 8 o'clock Central European time. That's Saturday. Then the Bradford-Leeds match at Odsal Sunday evening. Sheffield against Wigan also Sunday evening, and Saints against Oldham at 6 o'clock. Warrington and Salford at Wilderspool will battle on through the afternoon. They have the Sunday afternoon programme all to themselves, Warrington and Salford. So that's the way the fixtures round up. Here's the 2 captains who emerged a few minutes ago for the tossing of the coin. Mike Ford, captain of Castleford, tosses, and Terry Mattison calls. Robert Connolly's the referee. Here they are now talking to Bill.
Mike Ford captains Castleford tonight. Mike, there was only 7 points in it when you played them down at the Stoop, and it's probably going to be just as tight tonight, isn't it?
Yeah, it's going to be a real tough game. London are riding second, and I know they want to stay there. And obviously we're fighting for our survival, so it's going to be a real tough game.
But with a 3-game unbeaten home run under your belts, you must be pretty confident.
Yeah, we're quietly confident. We've been improving each week under Stuart Raper, and hopefully we can keep on that improvement and get a win tonight.
We'll see. Thanks, Mike. Terry Madison and Broncos really must be feeling a bit weary by now. How are you going to raise yourselves for this one?
Oh, we're feeling pretty good actually, surprisingly. So we played that hard game on Tuesday night, but the boys are ready for this one. We know it's going to be a tough game. Castleford are looking to get off the bottom, so we're ready for this.
Yeah, Tuesday night was tough. This is probably not going to be very different.
No, that's right. It's pretty warm down here as well, but I think we'll be used to it, and we're ready to play. No excuses here.
Good on you, Terry. No excuses then from the London Broncos. As always, the man of the match competition's running for you this evening. There's the telephone number to ring during the course of the second half. And prizes on offer. Well, this time it's the mini television set for the viewer who names the man of the match correctly. And of course, the man of the match himself goes home with one of those tonight as well, if he gets your vote as the top player in the game here. It's Castleford against the London Broncos, of course, at Weldon Road. That's where we are. Glorious evening here in West Yorkshire. Absolutely beautiful evening, and just right for Super League as we come back to the domestic competition after 3 weeks of Great Britain and Europe against the Australasians. And Stuart Raper, well, he is the man who goes under the microscope when we return, because we're going to take a look at the career of the Castleford coach in some depth when we come back. He's doing a marvellous job here at Weldon Road, steering them out of trouble. Stay with us, we'll be back. I think that we took you through the way these two sides lined up here. It's a vital game for these two. Castleford second bottom, London second top. Both of them after the points for totally different reasons. Here are the teams. Castleford Tigers first of all. They've got Jason Flowers at fullback, Chris Smith, Jason Critchley, Adrian Voles and Richard Gay, Brad Davis and Mike Ford, who is their captain tonight. And up front, the prop forward Dean Sampson, the first of Steve-O's key men.
The experienced prop forward needs to lead by example tonight. His strength in taking the ball forward will offer his three quarters the platform to score tries out wide. Strong runs like this sucks in the defence and also saps the opposition's energy. London's forwards looked tired against Oldham last Tuesday night and could struggle to last the distance. Sampson should take full advantage.
So Sampson at prop, Danny Orr playing at hooker, Richard McKell, the other prop, Andrew Schick and Jason Liddon, and Brendan Tudor, the loose forward. And on the bench, Richard Russell, Graham Steadman, Nathan Sykes and Lee Harland. The coach is Stuart Raper. Now, London Broncos. Nick Marden comes back at fullback. Scott Roscoe, David Krause, Tony Martin and Abram Butch Fatnauna making his full debut for London. He's arrived here from Workington. Robbie Beasley and the scrum half, Sean Edwards.
Despite carrying a hamstring problem, Edwards still possesses the creative skills to prise open Castleford's defence. London certainly will need the Edwards magic tonight, especially his runs across the face of the defence, where he brings on the runners coming back on the angle. Expect an explosive opening 20 minutes from the maestro tonight. Support play is great.
So, Sean Edwards, the scrum half. Up front, it's Tony Mestrov, Terry Mattison and Russell Bowden, Matt Salter and Kerrod Toby on his full debut, and Peter Gill, the loose forward. And the bench for London comprises Josh White, Andrew Hamilton, Greg Barwick and Kim Howard. The coach is Tony Curry. Could be an explosive match this, with both the sides so keen on the points. London need the two to maintain the pressure on Matthew Elliott's Bradford Bulls. Castleford Tigers, if they don't win here tonight, they could be saying bye-bye to Super League next year. Well, let's go outside to the heat of Weldon Road. It really is steamy out there. And join Bill Arthur on the touchline, who I think has got news of one young Castleford player, Bill, whose future is now assured here.
That's right, Eddie. Some good news for the Castleford Tigers and their supporters, because they've managed to keep one of the finds of the season here at the club. That's 19-year-old Danny Orr, who's in his first full season, has really made a big impact. He's been playing at half-back, although tonight he plays at hooker. Well, there's been a lot of speculation about his future, and Perth Reds were supposedly interested in taking him to Australia on a contract, but in fact Castleford have managed to keep him. They've signed him to a new 2-year deal, and the Castleford coach Stuart Raper is delighted with that. Raper's only been in the job here for 3 months. The youth policy is very important to him. He's already making an impression here, but then again, for the Raper family, that's never really been a problem.
30 years ago, the Australian captain Johnny Raper and his side were celebrating an Ashes victory. Raper is one of the greats of the game, making 3 Kangaroos tours and playing in the St George side that won 11 premierships in a row between 1956 and 66. He's a larger-than-life character and a hard act to follow. But Johnny Raper's son is making a name for himself too, as a coach.
He's not bothered of me getting out of his shadow, and I'm not bothered either. I'm Stuart Raper. I'm here to do a job, and you know, I'm hopefully going to do the best job I can. And you know, he's very proud of what I'm doing, and he would never interfere or never try to push me anywhere or help me out anywhere. He's let me go on my own laurels, and I'm very proud of the family, the way they you know, have performed in that. And it's you know, it's an exciting family to be part of. There's never a dull moment over a dinner table or, you know, out for a beer or something like that. They're always exciting, always something going on, always a song being sung, and it's always comes back to football talk. So it's quite good.
Got Edwards, you know how he plays, Josh White. That's the 4 main guns. We talked about that last time.
Stuart Raper is one of the youngest coaches in Super League. He played for Cronulla, but really made his mark when he joined the coaching staff there. British fans saw what Cronulla are capable of this summer, and Stuart Raper has brought that sort of philosophy with him to one of Britain's most traditional clubs.
It's what I know best. It's, you know, I was in a very good atmosphere, and it's something that you know, I think we've got the good people here. I just think they realise they've got to do the good work. You know, you just can't sit back and hope that someone else will do the work for you. And it's, you know, it's not just the players, it's everyone involved in the club has to you know, be more professional and do things like that. And if I can get that sort of installed in the club, then this club's going to benefit from it a lot more. Tradition will never die. You know, you can never rewrite history books, but culture has to change if you ever want to catch up with the Australian sides, and that's just in a general clause all over, you know, the game of rugby league. I mean, you know, I'm not trying to teach them. I'm trying to install that in them, as in just realise that it can be changed and that they can be, and believe in themselves that they can be good players. And you know, doing it that way, subconsciously, you probably will change the culture of the players and probably of this place here.
Stuart Raper, and there's no doubt about it, here at Weldon Road, Stuart is building up a fine academy, a fine coaching team, because the coach of the academy, there he is in the waistcoat, is Lee Crooks, talking to his academy team in the curtain raiser just before the big one, and it looks as though the words of wisdom work, because Castleford beat the London Academy. Listen to this, 68 points to 6. Incredible win for Lee Crooks and the Castleford Academy then. First blood to Castleford here in this match up tonight against the London Broncos. OK, where's the key areas? It's not going to be on the field with the Academy, obviously, Steve. All that now is put to rest. But where do you think the big game will be won and lost?
Well, I think the return game from Castleford, the new coach Stuart Raper, should I say, has done such a magnificent job in this area. They were a little bit lethargic last season, but look how they do it now. They run into the middle, the kick and chase game, and if they are not quick, they really do take full advantage. Good run from the wing, and you'll notice now a quick play of the ball. Once a defence, first and second markers aren't there, and the run from dummy half yet again. And again, this time, quick play of the ball, dummy markers not in position. And you can see there, in just 2 play the balls, Castleford are there to launch an attack in the opposing half. Well, Terry Mattison, I feel, is a key man for the London Broncos. And it's a great move by Tony Kerry to move him into the hooking role. And he runs from the dummy half, and he always brings men back on the inside. He really is a skillful player. He'll do it once, and then he'll make it look as though he's running the ball out wide. Again, the dummy, and then the runner back on the inside. And then he'll fool the defence. They expect him to do it on the 3rd attempt, and watch how they'll do it. The long ball out wide, and see how the defence has just sucked in just enough to create the try. 2 classy players, I'm sure you'll see tonight, Shaun Edwards and Terry Mattison. They definitely are the key players for the London Broncos tonight. OK, they're the key areas then, but I wonder, Matthew Elliott, who's with us, the coach of the Bradford Bulls, of course, champions-elect of Super League, I wonder whether at the other end of the table, I mean, you've never experienced anything like this, of course, but I just wonder whether tension will come into it for Castleford here.
I think there'll be a lot of emotion for Castleford. They've never been down there, to the division below. I certainly think it's a long time since it's happened.
Never out of the top flights in '73.
Well, you don't achieve that without a great deal of local pride, and I'm sure that's going to be instilled in them. And I'm sure someone like with the pedigree of Raper will certainly won't want to be associated with that sort of record either. So they'll work very hard tonight. And as I said, I find it hard to go against London, but they've got their work cut out. That's for sure.
Those two dressing rooms will be interesting places to be right now. I mean, Tony Curry will not want, will he, to point to the fatigue factor, but I suppose if they lose here tonight, he will say, well, the fixtures have caught up with us.
If anyone handles fatigue well, it'll be London, because the style of football they play is they really respect possession, and they keep they don't work any harder than they need to. So I don't think it'll be that big a factor for London, in the early stages particularly.
We saw when we were last here at Weldon Road just how Castleford, well, they almost slumped, didn't they, Steve-o, up to half-time. They were almost out of it against Oldham, but they always had the belief they'd come back, and come back they did.
Not only that, they had the belief of their coach was the fact that he brought on his substitutes just before half-time, and that is an important factor these days. It's not just about a 13-man side, it's 17 players, and when you look at both the subs bench for both Castleford and London, they are very, very strong indeed, and I think it's going to be the timing when the coaches bring out their second phase of attack or defence, whichever way you want to look at it. And I think it's going to be down critically to when a coach makes that decision. They could have success or they could have failure.
Yes, and on a night like this as well, obviously the substitutions and the switching of the players will be so important, because believe me, it is very warm here at Weldon Road tonight. It's a sweltering evening, and it should be a pretty hot affair out there on the field as well. They have come up with a great idea here. They're letting youngsters in for free tonight to see the Super League, and I'm sure they will not be let down. Stay with us. Kick off next. Football returns to Sky Sports on Sunday as Spurs take on league champions Manchester United, live from White Hart Lane, Sunday at 3 o'clock on Sky Sports 1. Right now the run-in begins to the Super League title. Castleford against London. Castleford next to bottom of the table, desperate for the points to avoid the big drop. London second top, desperate for the points to keep up the chase on the Bradford Bulls. And it's the Castleford dressing room that we pay our first visit to, and Castleford looking keen to come out and do the business here against the London Broncos, second in the table after Tuesday's 36-28 victory over Oldham, on course for their highest ever finish. And Sean Mason, who lives in Wigan but is an avid Broncos fan, running out with the London captain Terry Mattison. London enjoying their best ever run in the 17-year history of the club. 7 straight wins behind them, 8 unbeaten in domestic football. They're through the 500 points barrier now following that victory against Oldham on Tuesday, and in defence only Wigan have done better. And look out for Tony Mestrov, the top tackler and the top meter gainer in the forwards for the London Broncos. No wonder everybody in the game, both in this part of the world and in the Southern Hemisphere, watching his contract negotiations carefully. The Castleford Tigers, this is a big night for them. Just 4 games to play to save themselves from the drop for the first time. They have to win them all, and Stuart Raper says that they can. After tonight, home games against St Helens and Sheffield, away at Warrington. Of course, the coach is former Castleford boss Darrell van der Velde at Wilderspool. And out they come, the Castleford Tigers, who lost their first 10 games of 1997, but they are unbeaten in their last 3 as they aim to preserve 24 years in Rugby League's top flight. It's not beyond this team, but only 3 games all season and 13 defeats. That's why they are at the bottom of the table. They have the worst scoring record in Super League, but it's in defence where Stuart Raper has had his effect. Their points against column is now better than Warrington, Paris, Sheffield and Oldham, teams who surround them at the foot of the table. Stuart Raper on the left there with the walkie-talkie system. He's the Castleford coach, the man who has guided Castleford to possible survival in Super League, really against all the odds. Match referee is Robert Connolly. And Robert Connolly is just checking that everything is A-OK and just waiting for Castleford's mascot, the Tiger, to depart the scene. It looks like there's going to be a quick photo here for the Castleford mascot for the next edition of the matchday programme. Sean Edwards. Well, it's a pretty warm night, and all the Vaseline will stop the perspiration running into his eyes. Big night for Sean Edwards. Big night for the London Broncos if they want to maintain the chase on Bradford Bulls at the top of the table. So pitch is perfect, conditions perfect, hot and sultry here at Weldon Road. Castleford Tigers against the London Broncos. And it's going to be Mattison who gets this game underway. A vital 80 minutes ahead then for the men from Castleford. No doubt about that whatsoever. And London quick into the tackle early on. The tall figure there of McKelly gets the ball away, but only to Danny Orr, who is immediately clattered in the tackle. This is Brendan Tutor, tackled by Matt Salter, Great Britain Academy International. And here goes McKell again. Big favourite here at Weldon Road since he arrived from Wakefield Trinity. Tutor, 10 metres inside his own half, kicks downfield. The ball takes a nasty bounce and eludes Marden, but he gets to it now. The chase has arrived, though, led by the captain, Mike Ford.
Bit of confusion in the Castleford camp there. Brendan Tutor was not expecting that. He is not the kicker. A big mistake there. And you could find that the hooker, Danny Orr, normally a halfback, this is his only second appearance playing as a hooker in the scrum. So the experience showing there, or should I say a lack of it, showing early in the game.
That's Tony Mestrov with the headband. Terry Mattison's the man at dummy half. He finds Peter Gill, and Gill steps inside Sampson, feeds Edwards. Good tackle back though by Danny Orr.
Great play by Gill. Really did get away there, created the gap.
And they've got it loaded out wide, but Martin has come back on the inside, has to take the tackle from Andrew Schick. Gill to Edwards, quick hands, Beasley. Beasley dabs it in towards the corner. Race on here, and Flowers managed to get a foot to it as Martin tried to ground the ball.
Johnny on the spot, Jason Flowers, and it had to be. Beautiful kick there by the standoff Robbie Beasley, and you could see how close Martin came to putting on the first try. What a tremendous run and kick. Beautiful skill though by Gill. See how he created that gap. Perhaps a little bit of a suspicion that it was forward. They got away with it, but he's just got so much experience, being one of the star players for the London Broncos for a couple of seasons now.
Bowden will run the ball back at this Castleford defence, which were standing back and hanging round waiting for him to come at them. That could be costly unless they move up quickly and close the Broncos down. Now the tall figure of Matt Salter.
Well, a big factor tonight, the heat, and of course whether the Broncos can last the full 80 minutes.
Gill, good ball back on the inside.
Remember, Castleford have not played a game of rugby league in a fortnight. London, they've been playing on average 2 a week.
Mestrov driving it into within 12 metres of the line on the fourth tackle. Mattison, little dummy, he's got Gill running off him. Gill then back inside to Mattison, and Mattison gets the try. Early try then for the Broncos, and that Castleford defence that has been a little lacklustre in the opening minutes here caught flat, and Mattison over for the try. His sixth in Super League 97. Terry Mattison, the captain.
What a master stroke by Tony Kerry to put Terry Mattison into the hooking role. He really has come of age again. Got the spring back in his step. Good run across the angle from the dummy half position, and the combination yet again with Peter Gill comes up trumps with a 4-pointer. Well, it wanted to be a good start by the Broncos. They knew that. They knew perhaps that they would tire late in the game, so they need points early. And straight away, leading by example, the skipper Terry Mattison, first try.
Well, we don't think he's had a season like this for scoring tries, Terry Mattison. He's known for his goal-kicking ability, of course, but that's 10 tries in all matches in 1997 for Terry Mattison. A fabulous record for him. And that try, by the way, on this, his 50th appearance for London, has taken him through the 100-point barrier for the season. That's the angle that Matteson has now to improve matters. Looking for another 2 points here. Toe-in kicker, but just doesn't have the direction right yet. London ahead, though, by 4 points to 0, courtesy of Matteson's try.
Dummy runner, you can see him running to the right, and he threw the dummy, took it off, but see how the defence held back. He runs across the face. Short, sharp pass to Gill. There on the inside to support. Tremendous effort there by Terry Matteson.
So Matteson, star of the show at the moment, scoring the try, taking the conversion, and now restarting play. 5 minutes gone, London ahead by 4 points to 0. Andrew Schick with the run out of defence and tackled by Tony Martin. Swarming defence from Bowden and Mestrov on Adrian Vowles.
Well, there's little doubt in my mind that Stuart Raper, the Castleford coach, will get the message out very quickly. But they really
offside, London offside.
They're a bit too eager there. Leading the way was a big send to David Krause, but he had plenty to select there, Robert Connolly. And you see they made no attempt to go back the full complement of 10 metres. Tony Kerry would be happy with the opening first try. It was a good combination yet again from the man that he changed from loose forward, Terry Matteson, put him into the hooking role, and as Eddie's just mentioned, he really is in try-scoring form.
Well, Sean Edwards, a try against Oldham in midweek, 306 tries now, and that means he is the highest ever scorer from half-back, beating Alan Hardisty's record. Although, having said that, he grabbed 24 of his tries earlier on in his career as full-back, wing and centre. Well, now he has to defend this run, and it was a pass out wide by Davis that went to nobody. Critchley couldn't stop the ball. He was over the line, actually. Slid over the line when he collected the pass. There it is. Feet on the whitewash. That's it. Out.
It's passes like that that really do make coaches go grey and bald, or both. And as I was trying to get out earlier is the fact that Stuart Raper will want them to lift a gear, maybe 2 gears in fact, because their defensive quality have been exceptionally slow. They've not been getting their one line of defence sorted out, as given by the fact that Peter Gill and Matteson has made 2 wonderful little runs.
Here's Salter now, 12 metres inside his own half. Matteson just managed to hang on to the ball and got it away to Roskell, but that's much better defence this time from Jason Liddon. Here's Mestrov again. And obviously the message has got out from Stuart Raper for Castleford to come up and meet the man in possession with the ball, although they gave Edwards all the time in the world there to direct the kick over the top of Chris Smith. But Chris Smith now almost launches another attack, but a good tackle back by Beasley. Here's Flowers.
Good kick and chase there by the London Broncos, and it's indicative of the fact that we're into nearly 8 minutes played, and Castleford have only gone through the complement of 6 on one occasion, and it was a poor kick and chase. It was this the man that actually was left with the job of kicking downfield.
Richard McKell, tall man, takes the tumble just inside his own half of the field, or to Dean Sampson, bounces through Salter, gets the pass away, or keeps the movement going. Good ball that to Schick, but Mestrov comes across inevitably, the omnipresent Mestrov, and hauls him down. Lovely kick through then by Davis. Marden, though, had shuttled across and cut the kick out, but that's a much better chase from Vowles.
Lot better there. The kick was good from Davis, the standoff. And Vowles was very quick to get down. And that's what they need to do.
Now then, this is Fat Nowner.
There's a kick and chase, and you could see there was nowhere for Marden to go.
Edwards gets away from the tackle of Schick. Eventually Vowles comes back and cuts him down. Little help also there from Danny Orr. Now Beasley to the halfway line for the Broncos. 9 minutes gone. That's Kerrod Toby. Toby on his full debut, substitute against Canterbury last week. Edwards under pressure from Ford, but he still managed to get the kick in, and it's well claimed in the end by Vowles.
Took it well under a lot of pressure.
Almost lost it, didn't he?
Well, it was good work there. Or second attempt from Martin. That silly play by the young centre. Good kick and chase, got them way back into their own quarter, and you could see that he had a second bite at that tackle. Well, this will gain Castleford some respite, because they're certainly not into the swing of things as yet.
Well, it's interesting to just note where the teams around Castleford at the bottom of the table are this weekend. Oldham are at St Helens and Paris are in Narbonne against Halifax. So Castleford really, this is a must-win game for them. 10 minutes gone though, they're 4 points adrift. Davis was the dummy half, and Lytton gets the tackle from Gill, but the London Broncos all offside.
Much better play though by the Tigers, keeping the ball alive. It was a nice little short pass from Brendan Tutor that brought the fullback Jason Flowers into the half break. And there you see on the high shot that Robert Connolly had quite a few to select from. Leading the way was Peter Gill. Just shows you how eager the Broncos are of trying to diffuse anything that Castleford throw at them, which at this point in time has not been a lot.
Well, Danny Orr is preparing to take this penalty attempt at goal. Orr and Davis are fine kickers. Orr, one of the finds of the season. They're trying a goal against Leeds to level the match earlier this year, and it could be priceless, that point, through the academy ranks here. Normally a half-back, Danny Orr, but playing tonight at hooker. And interestingly enough, Richard Russell, the established Castleford hooker, is one of the 4 substitutes. So Stuart Raper has got plenty of options should he need them later on in the game. That's the angle that Danny Orr has. Big kick this from Orr, and it drifts in, but he's missed it. Pushed it wide of the right-hand upright. But the one thing from Castleford's point of view, he did manage to kick the ball dead, and so Castleford will get the ball back.
Could prove costly, that. Quite an easy kick. Not too far out, and he'll be disappointed with that, will the hooker Danny Orr. As Eddie mentioned, went to the right of the post. Good chase though, nice drop out from the Broncos.
Chris Smith just on the halfway line. Here now is Andrew Schick. He gets Castleford into London territory briefly before Mestrov, Matteson, and also Toby haul him back the other way. Here's Richard McKell once more. Debut against London in June for McKell. Good hands, Critchley. Haven't seen anything of him in an attacking mode yet. Jason Critchley tackled out of it there by Fatnauner and Kraus. Here's Tutor. Gets away from Gill, but Bowden was there to finish the job off. Last tackle. Tutor a bit unimpressed. Or with a little chip into the corner. Marden will shuttle across and pick this up. But good chase by Danny Orr. And then Ford coming in over the top. Marden wasn't held.
Good attack, nice kick, but great position again from the fullback Nick Marden. He's learning the game very quickly, the former rugby union player.
This is Beasley. Martin. Not the best pass from Beasley, but Martin held on under great pressure.
Much better defence by the Tigers. The message definitely would have got out from Stuart Raper, their coach, and it needed it. They were a bit lacklustre in the opening 5-6 minutes.
That's when Terry Matteson in possession there scored the try. The kick downfield from the London captain just turns Castleford round and finds touch.
Quick thinking. The experience of Terry Matteson showing on that occasion. Just took a step from the dummy half. He had plenty of time. The markers from Castleford a little bit too slow to apply the pressure.
London coming into this match after a difficult game midweek against Oldham, and as you can see, they're in no real hurry. In fact, neither side are in real hurry here to pack that scrum down. But having said that, it is a very warm night. And it's a penalty to Castleford because London broke from the scrum before that ball was released from the scrum down.
Full credit to the Castleford pack there. They held it in a la rugby union style. And you could see that Peter Gill, he'd broken away, so had Bowden, and so had Salter. So the referee Connolly had plenty to choose from. You can't break away from the scrum until a ball is cleared the loose forward's feet. But it was well worked by the Tigers.
Danny Orr struggles to his feet. Here goes Dean Sampson now. Castleford way ahead on the penalty count, and they have chances here in broken play with Tutor. He floated into the arms of Critchley. Critchley, though, well watched by David Krause.
Well, the London defence out wide is moving up so quickly that the Castleford side must stand deeper. The three quarters, you could see there that Jason Critchley was caught too flat-footed.
There's Ford, good ball back on the inside to Vowles. Orr sees a little gap, support arrives. And it's Davis, and they keep on going, Castleford. The tackle wasn't completed first time. Matheson finished him off. Chances here out wide for Gay, and Gay levels the score. Richard Gay with the try, and this time the defence did not come across and cut the danger out. So Richard Gay, normally a full-back, but having to fill in as a winger or a centre in this Castleford team, gets the try.
Good build-up, but what great work by the loose forward, Brendan Tutor. You see how he just sucks in the two defenders, sends the ball across two dummy runners, and the man that goes over, Richard Gay. Super work. See how they thought that the first man was going to get it, but it went to the winger. And Krause was caught flat-footed. So was Fatnauner. This is a superb try. See how he just throws the dummy. Beautiful stuff there. They use the fullback Flowers so well. That is an outstanding try.
Richard Gay, a fullback in Perth 2 weeks ago, only his 5th appearance at fullback for this club, considering he made his name as a fullback and won England cap during his career. But he would be happy enough to play on the wing and score tries like that. And it's a vital try too, puts Castleford Tigers level against the London Broncos, 4 points all. Danny Orr again with the conversion attempt. This way out on the touchline. Now he missed with one bang in front of the post, but around about, what, 35, 40 metres out not long ago. That was a penalty. They just like young Danny Orr to float this one over the bar. 19 years of age, 13 goals so far this season. Now this time he's pulled it in front of the posts, so 4 apiece it stays here at Weldon Road.
Notice in the circle, Krause and Fatnauner, they both go for the dummy runner, which is Critchley. The ball goes across from Tutor. The inexperience showing there to Fatnauner, the winger. He left the gap and Gay gleefully accepted it. Tremendous try, good work from Tutor.
Fatnauner, the winger, Butch Fatnauner, arrived here with London from Workington. They only got the work permit through for him within the last week or so. He's played twice this week, substitute against Oldham on Tuesday, and Tony Curry very anxious to have a look at him. That's a penalty. The ball ripped out of Russell Bowden's grasp. Two-man tackle, not allowed.
Tudor saying that the man had pulled away, but to be fair, Tutor wouldn't have known that.
Take up 10.
You could see that Dean Sampson was involved low down in the tackle.
Mestrov driving it up again for the Broncos then. Tutor, Sampson and Liddon in there quickly. Now Salter to the halfway line. But push back, that's good defence. Terrific defence. They shove him back a full 10 metres.
Great defence, they realised the quality of this Matt Salter. He was the man of the match on Tuesday against Oldham. He had a big game both in attack and defence. But his defence on this occasion from the Castleford Tigers. We mentioned before the match how the Australian coach Stuart Raper really has tightened this Tiger defence up. Well, it was evident there.
That's a good kick downfield though, and it stands up for Flowers. And look at the chase that's arrived. Roskill manages to get to him though and pulls him down. It was well done by the full-back. He must have heard the Broncos coming at him, managed to get out of trouble.
Been a marked improvement from the Broncos players, the kick and chase game, since they came back from their stint down under. in the World Club Championship. Tremendous kick downfield, but a kick's only as good as your chase, and on this occasion it was excellent.
Castleford in possession with Dean Sampson. Straight at Sean Edwards, and he gets to the halfway line despite the attention of Edwards and Mestrov. Ford to Tutor, stands in the tackle. Ford, then he bounces into the arms of Sampson. Sampson then to Davis. Out wide it goes to Vowles. Tackled by Martin. Davis with the kicking responsibility. That not the best, although credit Martin for the positioning. The London fullback was spot on then.
Well, he put himself in a good position on the field, but as you mentioned, it's not the best kick.
Offside against Castleford. All moving forward far too eagerly.
Well, he certainly wants an open game tonight, does the referee Robert Connolly. He is not going to put up for any messing around of these players approaching the 10 metres, and rightly so. That means that we can expect a very open game.
Here's Bowden again, but greeted by a three-man tackle. Mattison, dummy half. Gill. Good tackling by Liddon. Kraus, dummy half. Had Salter on his shoulder, but elected instead to take them on his own. Took the tackle. 20 minutes of the match gone. 4 points apiece. Tight as a drum, as you would expect in a match of this importance for both sides. Castleford, let me remind you, at the bottom of the table, next to bottom. London next to the top. Both of them needing the points for vastly different reasons. Edwards taking the tackle, the last one. Here's Gill. Wide out it goes, but that's Vowles who read the situation perfectly, and it's Vowles who's heading off. I don't think Martin will catch him. Adrian Vowles to the other end. Interception try for the Tigers. They took the gamble, the Broncos, and Vowles moved up and gleefully snatched the ball and set off on a terrific run. Adrian Vowles, the only man to have started all 26 this year for Castleford, and he comes up with an absolutely vital try.
They took the wrong option. The Broncos decided to go the power play on the last. Gill, instead of kicking, threw the long ball out wide. He missed two men. He didn't miss this one though. Vowles read it to perfection. He was always going to have the pace. Martin couldn't get anywhere near. He raises his arms, but Gill's pass out wide. Very speculative indeed. He read it superbly. Where the kick should have been used, the pass was brought into play. Castleford take the lead.
Thrilled Adrian Vowles, and why shouldn't he be, the Australian? He played for Queensland in 1994, Adrian Vowles, and he is a man of some quality. And that was a quality try. Wonderful interception, marvellous race, the length of the field. Outpaced Tony Martin, who he can give 7 years to, by the way, and plonked it down over the line. So Danny Orr now, this is a golden chance for Orr to get his personal tally off the mark. 0 from 2 at the moment, 1 from 3, and the Tigers hold a 6-point lead, 10 points to 4.
The two crosses donate the players he could have passed to. Vowles is circled, long ball out wide. Doesn't he read it well? He was onside, no doubt about that. He just timed his run to absolute perfection. What a vital try at a vital time. Well, it took him a long time to get into the swing of things, Castleford, but they have produced two great touchdowns.
Yes, 2 good tries, so it's 2 tries to 1, and Bowden now runs it back at them again, but McKell leading the chase, the big prop forward, and there he is again, helping out with the tackling by Sampson. And a knock-on against Mestrov.
Mestrov claiming that it was interfered with. And you could hear Robert Connolly saying it was the touch judge that saw the little mess there, and he did. Well, Mestrov was trying to get on with the game as quickly. You can see there. Now you've got to regain your feet. That's what the rule states. He made a real meal of that, did the prop forward.
Well, Greg McCallum, the director of referees, said his men would be policing the play of the ball so carefully as from this weekend, and spot on. Having said that, Jason Flowers isn't spot on.
So early in the tackle count, that'll be not pleasing to Stuart Raper. Flowers took his eyes off the football. You could see his eyes just lift slightly to look at David Krause, who was coming in to make the tackle. Bad mistake, especially when they had London back in their own quarter under pressure.
So Edwards will feed this scrum. They will remember they won 17-10 at the Stoop in June. And the last visit to Weldon Road ended 21-20 in the Broncos' favour. And Greg Barwick, who at the moment is dusting the substitutes bench, got a drop goal that proved decisive. They might not need a drop goal. That ball was put down. Marden thinks he's away. Castleford maybe. London are claiming got a hand in on that as the pass came in, but Marden has had to bring the ball back for the scrum.
Well, good work there by Salter, and you can see he's definitely trying to release this football, and it was knocked down out of his hands there. I think it was Adrian Vowles that was coming through to knock it down. Well, it turned out to be Flowers, I beg his pardon. Flowers and Brad Davis that got the fingers to it. I'll get it right one day. Well, it was a good run from Matt Salter, but he really shouldn't have tried to offload in such a busy period.
McKell spelled now by Nathan Sykes. Good use of the substitute there by Stuart Raper. McKell drop forward, Sykes prop forward. Sykes is featured in the last 9. Dean Sampson, meanwhile, continues. There's Danny Orr. There's Mike Ford. Davis out wide to Andrew Schick. Stands in the tackle, and that got a hand to it. The London hand got to that, but London have got the ball back anyway. Critchley was on his way to the try line. I think it was Roskill who got fingertips of that and just put Critchley off at the vital moment.
Well, they're lucky to get away with that, weren't they? Definitely got a fingertip to it, did the winger, Scott Roskill. Well, again, chance gone begging for Castleford. I think that's, to my memory, if it serves me right. Oh, that should we play on?
It is. Referee says play on, and Danny Orr's got it. And it's Peter Gill who comes down the field to bring him down.
He just lost it. Bowden definitely lost that football with the impact as he hit the ground. Not pleasing there.
No, he won't be happy. Here's Mike Ford, but they've got a penalty. Sean Edwards is going to be put in the bin here. Robert Connolly shows him the yellow card. Professional foul, use of the foot at the play of the ball to try and slow the Tigers down. Edwards unhappy about it, but Robert Connolly convinced with what he saw, and that's why the yellow card's out. Not allowed to do that anymore.
New rule, you cannot strike at the football when it is being played. And Brendan Tutor didn't get anywhere near that. Interference, well, this is struggle time now. You can see that Salter was also involved. He was in the way. A real mess in the end. Surely they'll take the 2 points on offer, especially with the fact that there's a man, 10 minutes in the sin bin.
Edwards was sin binned, you may remember, against Canterbury last week in the World Club Championship. Now he's having another 10 minutes on the bench. We won't see him until just before half-time.
Well, you said Greg McCallum had told all the referees that keep an eye out in and around the play of the ball. Rightly so as well. It was really messy there. And it was silly play from a man of so much experience, from Sean Edwards. It will be ruining the fact now. And I'm just about to say, Eddie, Castleford having so many chances, but on 5 occasions they've coughed up the football very early in the tackle count, so they're applying a lot of pressure to themselves.
Well, that's the scene at Weldon Road, the big screen feature of the Sky Sports matches in the Super League, and Danny Orr can see himself on that out of the corner of his eye. You have to be a pretty experienced player these days to keep your head down when you're hitting these penalties and conversions, but Danny Orr belies the age, 19 years old. And no wonder they've just tied him up to an extended deal. 2 years here at Weldon Road for Danny Orr. He's kicked them into a 12-4 lead. 2
points for the taking, and he took them gleefully.
Beasley has gone off, by the way, and Josh White has come on. That's obviously, Steve-O, a legacy of the fact that Edwards is in the sin bin.
Well, they need someone out there to spark them. Up to now, it's been only the two experienced players, Terry Mattison and Peter Gill, that are making inroads. They're the creative talents. And I think the introduction of Josh White certainly will help their cause. They need it quickly.
Josh White with the first touch there. He gave the pass to Bowden, who loses it. No, it was messing around at the play of the ball. Penalty to the Broncos.
Walking down the side, got the ball out. What is it?
Well, he wasn't going to be conned there, even though the man was coming round the outside. Either way, there was definitely a touch. There's no doubt about it. It was Nathan Sykes who gave away that penalty. Well, they really are becoming their worst enemies, Castleford. Their build-up is good, get London into their own quarter. What do? They give away a silly penalty yet again.
Nathan Sykes, the culprit. That tackle on Mestrov, though, was legal. This is Gill. Good ball back to Bowden. Bowden was just ankle tapped by Danny Orr, finished off by Schick. White to Mattison. Mattison to Salter. Met by 3. 4 tackles gone. Mattison from dummy half scampers away. Finds Kerrod Toby. And Toby to within, I was going to say 10 metres of the line, but the ball was stolen by Danny Orr. It was a 2-man tackle, and so the referee has given the penalty, and rightly so.
Well, Orr probably didn't realise that Ford was joining in the melee.
They're not taking the 2 on offer. They want 6 here. That's why Mestrov rather has driven it in. Mattison from dummy half trying to get under the posts. And again, the Castleford defence stands firm. Gill trying to fool them all and barge his way over. He's there, is he? No, the referee, I think now, will hand it all on to the video referee and allow him to make the decision. Was Gill over the line? Was Gill on the line? Was he short? That's the decision. He thinks he's got a try.
Well, I think Gill went over, but did he lose it, or was the ball stolen? Now, I think he may have lost that. This is going to be a tough one. Was it lost, or was it stolen? Now, this is going to be very, very difficult to see.
Well, Liddon's hand's in there, Steve-O.
Liddon's hand was in there early. That there's little doubt. But was he trying to turn over? Now then, this is the point of impact. Liddon definitely went for the football, and if that is the case, then this is play on, and I think Mattison will come up with try number 2.
Well, if Gill got one like this, Steve-O, against Brisbane, remember, he made his way to the post like this and then forced his way over the line.
Well, it's not a matter of whether Gill scored. There's no way in the world that Gill is scoring. It's the ball's coming clear, and that means that if Liddon has touched it, it's play on. So therefore, when the Bronco player came through and forced it, it's a try.
Well, that's one-on-one, isn't it? It was one-on-one when the ball was dislodged.
I think it's try time.
Well, it depends what happens just after that. Whether once it went on, was it the Castleford man who got down with pressure, or the Bronco?
It was Mattison, I'm sure, went over and plonked the ball down.
Here's the decision. Penalty kick to the attack. London get the penalty, and the video ref apparently has ruled that the try would not have been scored by Peter Gill, but the ball was reefed out. And the decision for the penalty try is, of course, he's got to be 100% sure that Gill would have scored the try.
There is also an element where perhaps a referee could play on.
So it's a penalty kick to the attack from in front of the post, and this time,
but of course,
Mattison is going to take the 2 on offer.
Of course, when he went for the screen, therefore he has to decide what he's looking for. So therefore, he can't play on. So he has to abide by the ruling offered by the video. And the video said that Gill wouldn't have scored, but the penalty was given for reefing the ball out.
That's right. Well, Castleford supporters aren't convinced, but Mattison puts all that to the back of his mind, and he takes the 2 on offer. It's 12-6 now.
Well,
I must say, they give us plenty to talk about, don't they, these video referees?
Well, this is the incident that gets involved, where Liddon definitely goes for the football. Now, if that is the case, Now, I thought Flowers had a hand on, so that's a penalty, reefing the ball out. Now then, as the play on, if the referee had chose not to go for it, and I think you'll see that Mattison, oh no, it was put down by Flowers.
Yeah,
My apologies.
Flowers grounded it in goal, didn't he?
That would have been a dropout by the Castleford side. Either way, I'm rather surprised that they took the 2 points. Remember, they had a penalty earlier, and they run the power play. They wanted to get on with it rather than take the penalty. They had a quick tap. I can't understand why they didn't want to do that again.
Well, maybe while the deliberation was going on elsewhere with the video referee, Tony Curry sent a message out: if it goes our way and it's a penalty, kick the 2 points, for heaven's sake. Anyway, we don't know. We're not party to all that. We only know it's 12-6 to Castleford. And it's Tutor in possession for them, who gives it to Critchley. Critchley's a danger man. And London know all about him, because every time Critchley's touched it, there's been 3 to him. Tony Curry watching anxiously as Ford dribbles a kick through. Ford then takes a tumble in back play. Roskill picks up on his own try line.
It's a beautifully weighted kick, and Roskill just got away with that. Great passage of play.
Martin to Salter. Remember, London still down to 12 men because Sean Edwards is in the bin. Gill. Martin.
Much better defence by the Castleford side. They're moving up quickly out wide.
They have to defend runs from Mestrov.
And there you saw Brad Davies put his body on the line. It was a big crunch time.
Toby. Nathan Sykes, first man in. Mattison with the kick, and a measured kick too. And London now will plod to this scrum again, because don't forget they are down to 12 men. Edwards is in the bin.
He's been around quite some time, Terry Mattison. He realises that kick into touch will eat up the clock and give them the opportunity to deny any more points by Castleford whilst they're down to 12. Such an experienced campaigner. Really has come alive since his switch to the hook and roll, though.
He has. It's been like a new lease of life for him. And Edwards emerges from the comparative cool of the dressing room, still with 2.5 minutes of his term to spend. But he's ready to come back on when called by the 4th official, who's watching the clock on that far side. Here's Critchley.
Well, Castleford may not have scored in the period that Edwards was off, but the one thing that they would have had to do is defend stoutly. 12 against 13 means you're having to work overtime in the defensive work, and that will sap the energy even more.
Ball pops out from Sampson. Schick did well to pick it up. Support from Ford. Oh, they almost put it down. How on earth did Chris Smith manage to hang on to that? Kick from Orr, turns Martin round. Big chase on. Martin in a bit of trouble and is caught in goal. A great race by Mike Ford, that was. Mike Ford, the captain, with all the enthusiasm.
Good combination. Good kick. And for the first time tonight, they turned round the fullback, Nick Martin. And it was a well-weighted kick. Tremendous stuff there. See Martin get through into it. And who comes chasing through?
Brad Davis. I thought for a moment, a horrible moment, it was Chris Smith. I thought it was Ford, but it turned out to be Davis.
Either way, according to Castleford coach Stuart Raper, he'd be pleased that someone got there in the end anyway.
It was an own goal from the commentator, that's for sure.
Vital period now for the London Broncos. 6 points astray, they can ill afford to cough up another try, so they've got to keep their defence solid until half-time.
That's Mike Ford, and this is Sampson. Flicks the pass to Schick. Martin in front of him. Davis. Good ball back on the inside. Vowles. Great run from Vowles. Support still there. Martin with a timely tackle in defence again. Andrew Schick not happy with the tackle. Sean Edwards has returned from the sin bin, so they have limited the damage. Drop goal attempt here from Davis, and Brad Davis adds an extra 1 point. Brad Davis's 4th drop goal of 1997.
Cool, calm and collected. The standoff says, let's have 1 point. Quick thinking gives them an extra buffer, a 7-point lead now. Quick thinking, all that hard work, but that was probably the best passage of play. The build-up was superb. Would have gone through about 7 or 8 pairs of hands. He must be happy, Stuart Raper, because they were very slow to start.
Well, 1 point in the bank maybe for later. A touch of insurance from Castleford. How confident is that Danny Orr, by the way, as we have a look at Davis there? The score of the drop goal. Orr is putting the ball on the sand on the halfway line and dishing out the orders to his teammates, belying the fact that he's only a teenager. He's certainly a man who Stuart Raper wants to rebuild around. Some good young talent in this area, and Danny Orr is one who's certainly come through the ranks. Edwards. Been around a long, long time, Sean Edwards. So is the man who just tackled him, Mike Ford.
Well, good work from the second marker again from Mike Ford. Leading by example, as a skipper should. And you can see there's not as much vim and vigour in the London attack now.
White steps inside Davis, gets the kick in downfield. The chase is on. Roskell, Martin, Edwards, but Chris Smith has it, but then takes the tackle.
Another good kick and chase game there, and good defence there by Martin.
Richard Gay, scorer of the try that levelled matters at 4 points all. Inside the last minute of this first half, Danny Orr plays the ball to Ford, who gives it to Sampson, who runs and drives his way through a couple. Gill came across, though, to cut the big prop forward down to size. Here's Schick.
Now then, will it be a high kick or will they go for length? Gone on the blind side.
Orr has kicked it down the field, but Marden's done well. Whoop, and then he makes a bit of a meal of it. And Orr following up, but Marden skips out of that tackle, but Chris Smith gets to him.
Not much pressure there, made a little bit of a meal of this, did Nick Marden, but it went backwards. Play on. And you can see there again that London finding it difficult to get over the advantage line.
Here's Edwards, scampering run, typical of him, but he's tackled by Sykes, Matteson and Salter. Salter looking for Fatnauna, and Salter takes the tackle. That's the last one of the first half. Brendan Tutor and the Castleford Tigers are ahead by 13 points to 6. Bowles, who got the vital second try, and Terry Matteson, who has scored all 6 of the London Broncos points. So the Tigers 13, Broncos 6 in this vital match here at Weldon Road. What a great try that was from Adrian Bowles. We'll look back at the first half when we return. Stay exactly where you are. Battle going on in the Super League between Castleford Tigers and London Broncos on Sky Sports 1. And Castleford ahead by 13 points to 6 at the break. 2 tries, Gay and Vowles, all with 2 goals, and Davis with a drop goal. And London, Matteson has scored all of their points. 13 points to 6 it is. Good battle, though, between these two. Castleford second bottom, London second top. And at the moment, it means that it's looking pretty good for the Bradford Bulls, who could claim their first championship since 1981 on Sunday if they beat Leeds. And no wonder he's smiling. Matthew Elliott, the coach of the Bradford Bulls. We've been giving you this title since the start of the season.
There's still 40 minutes to go in this game, and I think Cass have done a great job of knocking London out of their rhythm, and they've got 40 minutes to continue to do that. When London early on had that possession, they looked dangerous, didn't they? And the try was inevitable, I thought. So, and Cass worked really hard to get back into the game, and London have only had the ball in their own half, so they need to continue to do that.
They do, and the 10 minutes that Sean Edwards spent in the sin bin could be so costly, because on a night like this where it's so warm out there and London coming in on the back of so many matches, as Steve-O said in commentary, I think the fact that they've had to tackle and tackle will inevitably take its toll later on.
Well, you know, they're certainly going to, their juice supplies are going to be low, that's for sure. And I think a big part of Castleford's game has been their kick, and their kick chase has been outstanding, particularly in the second half of that first half period. They got a couple of back-to-back sets, but even more importantly, they were making London come, you know, off their own try line, and they're hard yards.
They are hard yards, but Steve-O, it started off so poorly for Castleford, really. They were so lethargic almost in defence, weren't they?
Well, it looks as though they didn't want to get into the swing of things, and that didn't surprise me when you think about it. They haven't had a game for a fortnight, and whilst we mentioned before the game that the Broncos have played so many matches, and it would be a tough battle for them to actually, you know, play out the full 80 minutes. But Castleford did finally get, shall we say, awoken, but it took a try from the Broncos that really started it off, and they fully deserved it. The biggest problem early in this match was the fact that the defence, if we just hold it there, you can see the dummy runner's gone that way. They're moving up on here, but look how they hold back. And when Matheson runs across the face, he pulls in the two defenders, and you can see how Gill is running onto the football. Missed tackle, back on the inside. Great support play by Matheson. And in the first 10 minutes, they really were taking control. But full credit to Castleford. This was a superb pass from Tuta. You could see the experience there of Fat Nauna, the winger. He was caught short. He should have been out wide. And then this, what great thinking by Voles. They elected to go for the power play rather than the kick, which would have applied the pressure, but Voles just had the speed. There was nothing that Martin could do, who tried very well. But quick thinking there by the centre. Well, this was the sin bin from Edwards. You're not allowed to play for the football at any time now. That's a new rule that they brought in this season, and that could prove costly. Well, this was quite controversial, wasn't it? Eddie and myself tried to spot what had gone on, and in the end we virtually had no idea, so it was left to the video referee, and there was no doubt that Gill couldn't get anywhere near to put that down to score a try, and therefore it was deemed that two men was there. Flowers did have a hand low. You'll see Liddon is the man that reefs the ball out. So the video referee was spot on, and you heard during the commentary that the referee, Robert Connolly, said, I wanted to find out whether he got any force down. He didn't. Well, this was also good thinking. Brad Davis, having a fine game. He had all the time in the world to make the 1 point, and that could prove vital. But it took Castleford quite some time to get into the swing of things. Though I must say, Eddie, they really are working hard now. Their defence was very poor in the opening 10, but the word got out from Stuart Raper. They're working hard, and as Matthew said, late in that second half, they were turning Marden round the full back. They weren't in the first 15, 20 minutes. Now they've got it to the fact, and they can see that he's under a little bit of pressure.
Yes, well, the ruling, by the way, from the video referee was the fact that Gill would have been held up on his back over the line, would not have got the ball down, and the ball was stolen in a two-man tackle, so that's why the penalty was given. Fair comment? Fair enough?
I thought it was stolen in the field of play, so you know, I think that was the right ruling, yeah.
Penalty right rule.
Yeah.
It's good, this video ref, though, isn't it? I mean, it really is. It has led the way in terms of...
It is if it goes for you.
No,
isn't
no,
it
it is.
He would have been sweating more than Steve-O in that box, I think, making that ruling.
Actually, you think it's pretty warm out there. Have you taken a look at my mate? I mean, have a go at him.
I'm not well. I'm not well.
It is a very warm night out there, isn't it, son?
It certainly is. I'm going to show. I think I've played that first 40 minutes just as well as anyone else. But as I say, I'm not well.
You haven't been well for about 7 years, then.
Oh, no.
But Matthew, what now do London do to maintain the chase on you at the top? I mean, have they got enough petrol left in the tank?
I think so. I mean, what they need to do is do what they did early in the first half, and that's, you know, complete their sets of 6. I hate saying that, but you know, London's whole game revolved around that. And when they were doing that early on, they looked very dangerous. They were winning those little battles on the ground, playing the ball a lot faster and beating them to their feet, and they were making 15, 20 metres on some hit-up plays, and it's very hard to contain the likes of Peter Gill on the back of that. So what they need to do is try and get back into their rhythm.
Can they get back into the rhythm in the second half? But what a big effort from Castleford. Remember, time is running out for them at the other end of the table. Now, I wonder if you spotted a man of the match, or a candidate anyway, or is he going to present himself to you during the course of the second half? We'll ask you to ring the number with about 20 minutes to go, and the prize for the viewer who selects the man of the match correctly, comes out of the computer first, is exactly the same as the man of the match himself will take home that mini TV set. We'll tell you when to ring during the course of the second 40 minutes, with around about 20 minutes to go or thereabouts. So Castleford ahead, 13 points to 6, and they've got that vital drop goal in the bank for late on in the game when the Broncos are coming back at them. Have they got enough? Have they got enough insurance? The second half's on its way. Don't miss it. There we are. Castleford against London. Second half on the way. Half-time score, Tigers 13, Broncos 6. 2 tries to 1 in favour of the home side. Desperate for the points to avoid the big drop. For the first time since 2-division football was reintroduced in '73. Stats from the first 40, possession, level pegging. Kicks in play 10-5 in Castleford's favour. And just the one power play, and of course the power play that London ran, it cost them dearly because they got the interception try. Offloads, 15 offloads by Castleford Tigers to 5 by the Broncos. And how are they shaping up in terms of metres gained? Well, 63 metres every time they are in possession, Castleford, 51 from the London Broncos. Only 15 sets of 6 completed. Castleford 8-7 ahead in that department. So Danny Orr then.
That would not please either coach. It's a very low count. Remember, both Australian coaches, they are so well aware of the advantage of keeping possession for long periods of time.
High kick from Danny Orr, underneath it Russell Bowden, met by Brendan Tutor. I'm sure that Stuart Raper has called for a big effort in the opening 20 minutes of this second half. There he is, the Castleford coach. He knows just how vital this game is. Salter is withdrawn right at the start of the second half by Tony Curry, and Kim Howard comes on. Kim Howard, the human battering ram, you may remember, from the World Club Championship. And there he is. That's what he does best. He takes the ball up. He's certainly got a soulmate now, hasn't he, Tony Mestrov, in Kim Howard. Edwards with the kick over the top. Kick downtown, and Flowers will collect on his own try line. Not much of a chase, but then it arrives, and Martin, inevitably I suppose, leading the way.
Good kick though by Sean Edwards. You could see that he turned the fullback around Flowers, and that's what they need. He's the man, he's the architect, along with Terry Mattison, that can get this London Broncos side back into the match, and they've got to score early. I think they will really tire with the Broncos, especially in the last 15 minutes. So it's important that in the first 20-25, they get back into this game with points on the board.
There goes Jason Liddon again. Grounded on the halfway line. Danny Orr, ball out wide. Dabbed through by Critchley. Fat now the man who's reacted first. He picks it up. Quick play the ball, Gill. This is Marden now, the fullback.
Neat little kick on that blind side as well, applying the pressure on the newcomer, Fatnauna.
Roscoe plays the ball to Martin. Martin then to Toby. Toby, one of 4 youngsters on an apprentice scheme at the Stoop this year. Mestrov over the halfway line. Offside though. Offside. Oh no, high tackle. It was a head-high tackle on Mestrov. That's what the referee got them for.
Well, the big one against the small one. The small one went high. He had to jump into that, Mike Ford. And that really is not the best play. That really has given London the incentive that they needed. Well, the man who's just tapped the football, Terry Mattison, he's just had treatment for an injured shoulder. So that's another problem for the Broncos.
There's Mattison though, gives it to Gill. Gill then to Bowden. Bowden on a diagonal run. Early test then, and this second half of this Castleford Tigers defence as Mestrov runs it in again at them. Nathan Sykes on his back. They're 10 metres short of the line though. Edwards to White. There's a big gap opened up for White, and White has strolled through the defence. That was awful defence by Jason Flowers. White just ghosted through, and he brushed aside the challenge of the Castleford fullback, and he's touched down right behind the posts.
Super play by Edwards. The forward set it up. Edwards run the angle, dummy runner, used the Martin as a fullback, and you could see that they opened up. A simple try, but well worked there. Not the best effort by Jason Flowers, a fullback, but it was all skill by Edwards. Good position by White. They're back. Excellent play. Dummy run on the inside. Martin right across his chest. And this man went through the feeblest of attempts from Jason Flowers. That will not please the coach, Stuart Raper. But well worked, though, by the Broncos. Good work by the forwards, allowed this man to finish it off.
And from bang in front, Terry Mattison does not miss those. And so, as Steve-O says, the Broncos are back. 13 points to 12. Just the 1 point between the two. That drop goal from Davis in the first half.
There you see the dummy runners and the importance of it. And look how Edwards milks it well. 2 went for the dummy runner, Martin. And bang out wide. They really were caught asleep there.
So Josh White, Tony Curry didn't want to put him in from the start because of his slight defensive frailties. But my word, how important is he to the Broncos in an attacking mode? Lovely link up there with Edwards for that try. So just the 1 point in it now.
And good work by the forwards. Obviously a half-time pep talk by that man, Tony Kerry. Certainly has helped. And I mentioned how important it is for them to get points on the board early.
This is Smith. He brushes away the challenge from Tony Martin, but White was in there quickly then to finish the job off. Bowles is surrounded, nowhere to go, so he gives it to Ford. And Ford goes round Bowden and straightens it up. A great run from Mike Ford.
They held off him, little halfback was away.
Danny Orr, Davis, Tuta. Further out wide it goes to Critchley. Critchley taking them on. Gill and Fatnauna combined to bring him down. Tuta, the kick out wide. Oh, that was brilliantly claimed. Ford tries to recycle the ball. Who has it? Toby does for the London Broncos. Opportune moment, I think, to go downstairs. Bill Arthur has got Lee Crooks with him.
Lee, that's almost a carbon copy of the start of the first half for Castleford. Defensive error and the Broncos are in.
Yeah, I think Stuart will be spitting blood at the moment. We said in the first half that London would probably come out and give it the best shot for 20 minutes and then we'd get on top. That's exactly what happened. And we said at half-time, London are going to give it again the best shot for 10 minutes. I think if we could wear the 10 minutes down, then we'd get on top again. But unfortunately, we've given them a little bit of a lifeline, and it's going to make it twice as hard for us.
Is the feeling that the Broncos are going to run out of puff at some stage? I mean, they've had a really hard schedule lately.
Yeah, I think that obviously it's no secret they've had 2 very tough games, and they had a tough game on Tuesday. We're expecting them to run out of puff, but we can't afford to keep giving them little lifelines like we are doing.
And yet, for the rest of the first half, Castleford played it just the right way.
Well, yeah, our defence has been very good. We limited London to the amount of ball that we wanted them to have, and I think that because of that they did tire. But if we turn cheap possession of them and keep giving them the ball and we have to tackle, then obviously it's us that's going to start tiring.
Lee Crooks, academy coach here at Castleford, and with a very fine win, 68-6 under his belt already from the curtain raiser to this match. So he is a happy man, but he wants the first team to be a little happier.
Slack play there. Edwards running across the face of the defence. Wanted runners, didn't get any. You could see there they were stood very square indeed. Nobody running, nobody wanting to help. Wasn't the best pass in the end. Couldn't take it on the half volley, Tony Martin. But he's the man that can put them back into this game or take the lead anyway.
That was a bit of a high shot on Sampson, but somehow he managed to keep the movement going to Orr. Tackled by Mattison.
Well, I must say, Danny Orr, normally a halfback, making a damn good fist of the positional, playing the hooking role tonight.
Jason Flowers will want to make up for that weak tackle on Josh White that led to the try. Adrian Bowles again. Jason Liddon, I beg your pardon. Ball back to Nathan Sykes.
Well, I wonder when the time is for Stuart Raper to bring on Graham Steadman. A little bit of his class wouldn't go astray.
Lovely dink over the top, looking for Smith. Smith, though, went down in a bundle, and Martin has come up with the football for London. He gives it to Martin.
Well, they were looking to get away with that. Surely Smith was impeded before he could get to that football. I'm sure that he was impeded on that kick.
Toby with
that was a high shot. Well, surely Rostel went for the man rather than the football. It was not seen by the officials. Well, Dean Sampson was looking to get away with the previous tackle. It was a big hit and a high one.
Gill back on the inside to Roskell. Ankle tap, but his progress is not stopped. That's a much better tackle from Flowers. Quick play the ball here, and Castleford a stretch. Matheson running it at them. And another quick play the ball. Gill, they're stretched out wide here. Edwards keeps it going. Gill again. He's going to get the try this time.
Or is he? Did he lose it? I think he may have dropped that football.
If he's dropped it, it's no try. If it's stolen from him, it must be a penalty try this time.
And you can see there that he's dropped the football.
Where is it?
It's between his legs at that point. Now 1-on-1, and that's 1-on-1 because he's done it before Flowers joined in the tackle. So therefore, that'll be no try. 1-on-1 is okay, and it went backwards. There you see, it's been ripped apart. And before Flowers came in, it was good work by Ford. Well, this is a difficult one, but I'm sure that before Flowers came, it'd be no try for mine.
And no try for the video ref. And it's the turnover. Or the handover, to use the appropriate word from the big screen.
Well, he took a big gamble there, did the Castleford skipper, Mike Ford. And the gamble was that he reefed the ball away when it looked like Gill was over for the try and hoped that no one came to him. And as you could see on the replay, that Jason Flowers arrived just a little bit too late.
Matheson, good tackle on Danny Orr. Tutor gets it away to Sykes. Just about 10 minutes of this second half gone. It's been eventful. 13-12, Castleford leads. Schick finds Bowles this way. Good tackle from Martin. He gave it though to Smith, but Smith had to leap into the air and stop the run to get the pass. Here now is Ford again, and Ford had a look at the referee and saw it was the last tackle. He kicked the ball downfield. Martin collects it under his post. Ford is leading the chase.
Tremendous kick and chase. Good work by Ford.
Enthusiastic, wasn't he?
Not only that, he realised that the full-back, Nick Martin, was just up a bit. Oh, he's lost the ball, gone without it. Fatnauna went without it. Now what did the referee's given?
He's given a penalty to London for stealing the ball. Two-man tackle. Well, I'll
he
tell you
lost
what,
it completely.
They are hard done by there, the Tigers. And the crowd know it because they've seen the replay of that on the big screen too. And they're giving Robert Connolly some stick now.
Well, the newcomer, the winger Fatnauna, will breathe a sigh of relief on that one. It was just a simple error, and he knows it too.
Well, how controversial will it be if London get over for a try here? And that was dropped by Borden, and that's been picked.
Well, I'm not so sure about that one either. I think Borden had that helped along the way by a little hand from Sykes. So, we squared it up. Watch for the arm of Sykes. An interference was sufficient, but either way, so that's 50-50 now.
Yeah, it's 1-1.
Get your head in, Gill.
So Castleford have the ball back. Good tackle by Marden. That was on Vowles. And this now is Tuta. Oh, and he's picked up and dumped to the ground by a great tackle from Gill.
Well, there was no one there to help, and they needed it. Oh, big hit.
Mestrov again on Flowers. Oh, then gives it to Ford. He pops it up to Sampson. And Sampson looked to release the ball over the shoulder, but was closed down by four. Danny Orr drills the kick down the touchline, looking for the flying winger Smith. Oh, tell you what, Martin took a gamble, didn't he?
Did he ever? He was calm, cool and collected as a Scotsman. And he obviously knew that it was just going to take a left little kick, but he was so close. Smith was in attendance.
Coolest man at Weldon Road, that fellow. Nick Marden, the fullback. Big shove at the scrum. Edwards feeds and then gives it to Roscoe. Scott Roscoe, who now has got 83 tries for this club, the new record holder. Kim Howard, that's a great tackle by Liddon. But then all messed up by Tutor coming in a second man and holding down.
A lack of composure there. They do all that hard work, and you could see Tutor just pushed him away. It was sufficient. It was well worked by Howard. He milked it for all it was worth, and Tutor should have had enough experience to just get away.
So London are back in possession. Tutor penalised. Matheson with the football, gives it then this way. Kim Howard it is. White. Josh White is delayed again and saw a little gap and went to scamper through it. Good job that Danny Orr got the tackle in. Martin at dummy half to Matheson. That's Kerrod Toby now. Matheson. Edwards. Bowden, it looked forward. Big screen from the terrace. Robert Connolly unconvinced. Play on. White dabs it through. A race for Gill. And Vowles takes charge of the situation, does really well. Bounces off White, who comes back for a second snap. And with a little help from Howard, he's pulled down.
Well, it was a beautiful kick. And Vowles said it's mine. And it had to be. Because I think Flowers would have been absolutely flattened with the defence coming towards him.
Well, only one substitute used by Stuart Raper. It's a very warm night. The Castleford at the moment, they're playing on with what they've got.
He's lost
it, Danny Orr.
The mistakes coming fast from both sides. It's the pressure. They know. London fighting to make sure they've got those 2 points to push Bradford all the way for the Super League title. And of course, Castleford desperate to avoid relegation. It could not be any tighter. 1 point in it.
Well, almost by magic, we said, when would Stuart Raper make a change? And he has. Lee Harland has come on for Brendan Tutor.
Well, I think if he realises that Brendan Tutor was getting very tired, he's given away a silly penalty. And with the game so evenly balanced, you've got to have good, hard workers out there that's thinking all the time.
Edwards keeps the movement going. Here's Kim Howard once more. And he's bounced off too. And he loses the ball in the tackle. Richard Gay has got it back for Castleford.
Good defence there by Lee Harland. Spun him around, lost control of the football.
Fresh legs for Castleford in number 17, Harland.
And it's at this point now, and they've given away a silly penalty.
Hands in at the play the ball.
Well, Mestroff all over. Little doubt about it. You've got to release the player as soon as you've made the tackle. There's some tired legs out there, which we expected from the London side, but it's been an heroic performance for them to be just 1 point adrift. Surely there's players out there that may run in on empty.
You wouldn't believe it looking at the way they're piling into the tackle. This is Sampson, straight up the middle, Sampson. How brave was Kim Howard then, he stuck to his guns. This is Andrew Schick, and he's broken the tackle of Edward Schick. Martin comes in though, a collision with Roscoe, but he's still put down. Vowles, little signal he's coming this way. Now he switches the direction of the attack. Drive in from Sampson. And Sampson gets the ball down, but he's short. Just half a metre short. It's with Ford. Now Davis. Oh, out wide it goes to Haaland. What a tackle from David Krause. Quick play the ball. London on the back foot. The ball sliced through. And Marden picks it up. It bounced off him, I think, as the kick went through, and Marden chased it forward.
How close can you get? The kick was great, and it bounced away. Deary me, tension here is building with every second. The crowd are on their feet.
Marden is really blowing for tugs. No wonder. We're approaching the last quarter of this match, and there's just a point in it. The next score could be so important to either side.
Surely Graham Stedman must enter the arena.
Gill Bowden's off and Beasley comes on. So all the schemers, Edwards, Beasley, White, who's just kicked that ball downfield, they're all out there for the Broncos now. Smith, well tackled by Roskell. Here's Flowers again.
Took a big gamble there to the winger Chris Smith to play the ball quickly, and Vowles just got there in time.
Here's Gay.
Well, this has been a tremendous effort by the Broncos. Heavy legs out there.
Lovely run from Ford. They just managed to collar him in time. Mestrov was there, and Toby. Here's Sykes. Great tackle from Edwards.
You can see how Castleford are getting over the advantage line easy now.
Vowles.
The London defence is just holding back. They're not moving forward.
Stedman's on, and here he is. The high kick from the old head, Graham Stedman. The ball bounces and was knocked forward then by Marden, and the referee will play the first, which I think came off the Castleford man, so it's the turnover.
Definitely came off a Castleford hand. Richard Gay was up there as well. The referee, Robert Connolly, the reason why he played on, he wanted to give advantage to London. None was forthcoming. But what a great kick. The first touch of the football by Graham Stedman, and the first time in this game that we've seen the bomb. His hold hand is Graham Stedman.
Kim Howard is going off to the blood bin for London, and Andrew Hamilton is the man coming on while Kim Howard gets patched up. First drive from the substitutes. Edwards and Toby. Tony Curry, the London coach, knew that this would be a battle royal, and he has disappointed nobody with that prediction. Hamilton getting to the halfway line. Close attention though. Now Mattison. Lovely run from Mattison, defying the age. Edwards for support. It arrives with Martin, and Martin gets to within 3 meters of the line. The ball was stolen in a two-man tackle, and it's a penalty to London.
What a great run though by Terry Mattison, and you could see that he took the football there. Now then, was a hand laid on? It was a difficult one to see. Martin, they got back. Stedman took the ball.
I think so.
Now then, did Davis release himself away from the tackle? He probably did, but it's very difficult for the referee to see. All he can see is two players in attendance to Martin.
Stedman's on his way off to the sin bin.
Professional foul, according to the referee, Robert Connolly.
That's a big call by Robert Connolly.
To be fair to the official, he was on the other side of where the ball was being reefed away by that man from Martin, and he could not see whether Brad Davis had a hand. It is a very tough call indeed. Perhaps on the slow motion, Eddie, you'll see that perhaps Davis had come away and left his hand, but it was a split second. A tough call for any official.
Stuart Raper's out and sending the instructions onto the field as Terry Mattison shapes up for another important kick. Remember the goal he scored against Wigan last year. He's missed this one though, and Castleford's lead is intact. Well, it was 18-all at Central Park last year when Mattison kicked a wonder goal. That was much easier, and he missed.
Well, how close can you go? You would have put your mortgage on the fact Terry Mattison would have kicked that from such a simple position. Now, how big a psychological blow will that prove for the London Broncos? We'll have to wait and see. It is a real let-off for the Tigers.
And it's quite ironic, really, when you think that Greg Barwick is sitting on the bench, the man who kicks goals for fun and who has kicked and scored points against Castleford over the years. But Barwick was on the bench, waiting his chance. There he is, and Mattison missed the kick. Now then, man of the match time. 0891 66 55 25. Who's your man of the match? If the call from Robert Connolly was a tough one, the call from you will be even tougher to pick a man of the match out of this. There's been some heroic displays. He might yet Up here, Beasley, Edwards, and Edwards is going to score. Edwards behind the line. The extra man has taken its toll. Beasley made the break. Edwards, doing what he's done throughout his long and illustrious career, comes up with try number 307.
Tremendous play by Beasley, and the man that loves nothing better than to support back on the inside. It was great play. They used a run around. Tremendous that. What a great fight back. Beasley back on the inside. The poacher, the experience of Edwards has put London Broncos into the lead at a vital time in this game. The run around with White. Neat little pass. See how Gill took the man out. He made sure that Lee Harlan came towards him, back on the inside. He will enjoy that. He's added a new dimension to the Broncos attack. Shaun Edwards. What a great try.
10 tries in all his matches for London, 3 in a row for Shaun Edwards. And Mattison this time, bang in front, makes no mistake. So London now have a 5-point lead, but the game is not over yet. Quarter of an hour to go.
They've done a run around. Watch how Edwards goes back on the inside. There he goes. Great anticipation. Used a run around with White. Finishes up with a 4, a vital 4.
Stay outside. Stay outside, Shaun.
What a competitor Shaun Edwards is.
Hold and wait.
So London now in the lead. Toby withdrawn and Kim Howard comes on. Remember, Howard not long ago was in the blood bin.
Well, we said that miss by Maddison from a simple attempt with a penalty perhaps might be a bitter blow to their confidence. It certainly hasn't proved that way. Remember, Castleford down to 12, Stedman off into the sin bin. But what courage is being shown by these Broncos.
Now then, Vowles. He's got Critchley and he's also got Smith in support. And that ball went backwards, so it's play on. And Smith's able to get up off the floor and continue the run. Martin, support arrives. Great defence back. It was Critchley who was there, but Castleford are rolling forward again. Ball comes free, and again, and London have got the ball back.
He had the chance, Mike Ford made a meal of it. But what tremendous play by Castleford. They've not thrown the towel in. They kept the ball alive. Vowles on the inside. Smith couldn't get a hand to it. It was play on. He kept going. Back on the inside. Beasley to the rescue. He created that last try, did Beasley. And now Castleford have sinned yet again.
Yes, they've conceded the penalty for Liddon at the play of the ball. Messing around as Gill got to his feet.
Frustration written on the face of Liddon. They're running out of time now at Castleford.
They're running out of time here. They're running out of games for the season, and White has obviously got a problem with the wrist, but he is going to have to battle on. "10 metres inside the Broncos' half. Howard picks himself in front of in the Tigers' half. Howard picks himself up. The ball comes free, and it's play on. Castleford have got it back. Jason Flowers.
Well, what great impact there. That's the reason why I lost the football.
Flowers takes the tackle. A hint of a flop maybe from Mestrov. Sampson up the middle.
He's had a big game. He really has lifted himself. He needed to as well.
Here's Ford. Ford a short ball to Harland. Harland thought about releasing the pass but took the tackle instead. Russell. Richard Russell.
Quick thinking from the dummy half. That's what's needed.
Davis is there. He gives it to Ford. And Ford hoists the kick. Trying to have a go at Fat Nauna. And they all came in on Fat Nauna. He was in the air and was taken out. Penalty to London.
Took him out there. Flowers, the fullback, went for the man, not the football. Another pressure penalty, another pressure decision by Robert Connolly, who has had a fine game tonight, I might say.
Mike Ford has questioned the decision and he's marched them back another 10 metres.
This has not just been a pressure game for the players. This was a big call. You could see that it eventually hit Gay. Would have been a knock-on anyway, but the fullback Flowers took the winger out. They know perhaps that he's a bit dodgy, Fat Nauner, for the high kick, but up to now he's getting away with it.
Well, Greg Barwick is on the field for Tony Martin, and he really has proved a problem for Castleford over the years.
High shot.
Touch judges on.
It was a high shot.
Liddon, I think.
High tackle.
Yes.
Touch judge on quickly. Little doubt it was a high one, and it was a bad one. And Howard would have felt that. Good run on the blind side. Well, I'm afraid Castleford are losing their marbles. They're losing their cool when really they should be just making sure they go low in the tackle. Again, London will gain valuable metres forward. He's not happy, and rightly so.
Well, his substitute Graham Stedman has still got a couple of minutes left to serve in the sin bin. These are desperate times for the Tigers now.
Now leave it, don't interfere again. Stand okay, you knee out. That's good.
He's making another change. Stuart Raper, Richard McKell has returned. There he is, in the tackle, driving the man back. Andrew Hamilton. Here's Edwards, held it up then for Marden, and the referee.
Did Sampson get him across the neck, or did he get him on the shoulder? Either way, the official has blown the whistle. Back on the inside, Marden. It certainly finished up underneath the chin. This one will show it. The impact is on the chest to start with.
The referee's going to put him on report. He's called the captains across and his touch judge.
Right.
Well, that looked a fair one to me. The impact was across the chest. I know he finished up.
He's given the penalty to London for a high tackle.
Well, Sampson perhaps would be a little bit confused with that. But what a vital penalty to give away.
And now the decision for London, who's to take it, Barwick or Matteson? Matteson's tossed the ball to Barwick. And Greg Barwick, 28 points, a record against Castleford last August. 2 goals and a drop goal, won the game here last year. He scored 45 goals this year, Greg Barwick, and this is a big kick, not only for London's championship ambition, but also for Castleford and their survival hopes. This will make it a 7-point advantage to London if it sails over, and Castleford will have to score twice. Barwick with the kick. And Barwick gets the 2. So Tony Curry, who's come out of the stand and down to the touchline, knows now that Castleford Tigers must score twice, and Stuart Raper can feel the shifting sands of relegation under his feet once more.
Well, he knows that a penalty way downfield allowed the Broncos to get into that position. 50-50 high shot from Sampson. I think we saw on the replay that the impact was definitely across the shoulders. But either way, the Broncos will gleefully take the 2.
And Castleford have certainly been caned in terms of penalties. 15-6. Sampson is gritting his teeth. He ran over the top of Madison. He couldn't get away from Marden. A last hurrah from Castleford on the way here in the last 10 minutes. Who's your man of the match? Your votes are invited now. Stedman's back out of the sin bin. Critchley, ball back on the inside. Gay, nowhere to go.
Well, it's been a great effort from both sides. Give them all a television, Eddie.
Well, I think they all deserve it, don't they?
What a tremendous effort from both these sides.
Ford to Vowles. Krause is the man who gets to him on the last tackle. Ford to Davis, who dabs the ball over the top looking for Smith, but only finds the safe arms of Nick Marden.
Not the best kick, though. It went right down the throat of Nick Marden, who yet again anticipated the kick into the corner. Great positioning. Here it is. He's had a fine match. He improves every game, does Nick Marden.
Barwick takes the tackle from Liddon. Matteson at dummy half. Howard loses the ball, and Castleford have got it back. Jason Liddon.
He'll take the first knock on.
1, 2, take the first one.
There was no real advantage there. The referee, Robert Connolly, you'll see that the big fella, Howard, lost control of it. Now, even though the ball went into Gay's arms, it doesn't have to touch the ground. Once you lose control forward, it hits the opposition. That's classed as the first knock on. That's why it's a head and feet to Castleford, and more pressure. Plenty of time for Castleford to do it.
There is indeed. Critchley. If anyone can, he can, but that's good defence from Krause. Stedman, dummy half. The runner, Flowers. And London now need firm defence as Russell picks the ball up and gives it to McKell, who finds Ford. Ford then to Danny Orr, and Danny Orr slipped through one, but Edwards is the man who comes back to cut him down. Russell at dummy half again. This is Harlan. He releases the pass. The ball goes to ground. Gill gets it back for London.
What a great effort there, and a big smile on his face, Peter Gill. He knew how important that was. Beasley takes it up. Sampson tried to keep it alive. Voles made a real meal of it. But there's only one man going to get that football on that occasion. That was Peter Gill.
Roskell and Smith, and Roskell's appealing to the touch judge. Smith had a couple of little snaps at him then. No wonder Roskell looked to the touch judge.
He could have been got for a flop, the winger Chris Smith. There's a swing, and then he came back for the second one, and then he decided on another flop.
White drills the ball downfield, but that will run dead in goal. Just over 5 minutes to go, and London ahead by 7 points. Castleford must get on with it. Time is running out for them, and games are running out as well. After tonight, they only have 3 matches remaining. They travel to Warrington. They have home dates with St Helens and Sheffield. Stedman gets the ball away, and the support arrives, but what a tackle back. Roskell, was it? Yes, Roskell got the tackle in. This now is Chris Smith. Back from Chris Smith to Mike Ford. They're trying everything. Castleford, that bounced off the head of McKell and bounced forward. Davis's pass intercepted by the head of his own prop forward. Marden has got it back for the Broncos. Marden looking for support, nobody there.
Well, Davis wanted to get the ball out wide. They had 3-man overlap, Castleford, and it hit the head of McKell.
Barwick's knocked the ball forward. It looked for a moment as though he'd picked it up brilliantly off his bootlaces, and then he let the ball slip like a bar of soap. Whoops.
Got it right the first time, made a meal of it the second. Oh, not the best pass. Well done there by Voles.
They're not waving the white flag, are they, Castleford? Critchley plays the ball. Lost it, Vowles. Strong tackle, Gill and Howard, crunch.
Combination of two. Howard going over the top, and Vowles and Gill got right underneath. He got the shoulder, and you could see that Vowles could not control it.
Well, it looks like another desperate wait over the weekend for Castleford, because the important matches, let me remind you once again, Oldham at St Helens and Paris in Narbonne against Halifax. That's the situation at the bottom, but up at the top, they don't come much bigger than Bradford against Leeds, and that's where we will be on Sunday at 6:30. Bradford Leeds. London, though, making sure that Bradford go all the way in their quest for this title. And what price a Leeds victory at Odsal on Sunday night?
Leave him, get off him, get off him.
He dropped it then, Barwick. No, it was interfered.
You interfered, you knocked the ball in.
Knocked the ball out of his hand, Brad Davis.
Well, Davis just interfered there and just got the hand in, and you could see how close the referee was there. He turns his back to Stuart Raper. He knows that silly mistakes, silly penalties have just eroded their chances.
Well, he was picked by the referee, Davis, and he was also spotted by our cameras as well. No doubts at all about the validity of this penalty. And here's Barwick again. to first of all eat the clock up, obviously, and second of all to stretch the lead from 7 to 9, which would mean, I think, the game for the Broncos.
Most importantly, that he gets enough length to ensure that it, even if he misses, it goes dead in goal. That means that Castleford will have to drop out, so the Broncos would regain possession, and it would be probably up the jumper stuff for the 6 tackles.
Barwick, a problem for Stuart Raper and Castleford, and Tony Curry can't bear to watch by the looks. Barwick strokes the ball towards the post, he's kicked it, and that looks like it's the match for the Broncos. And Stuart Raper, I think, and look at the face of Brendan Tutor on the bench, they know that that's the game up for Castleford Tigers. Tony Curry's not prepared to smile just yet, but maybe, because Castleford 13, London 22, and talking to him this week, he was really worried about this fixture here in West Yorkshire. Castleford, he knew, would be scrapping for their lives, and also 3 games in 11 days against the best that Australia has to offer. Follow that up with matches against relegation candidates Oldham and Castleford. It's a really tough week for London Broncos, but by the looks of things, they come out of it with 4 points in their quest for at least runners-up spot in Super League, and if Bradford hit the buffers in a big way, who knows, even more.
Well, the one thing you cannot discount is the courage from these 2 sides. They've given it everything tonight. Castleford, of course, have not played a game for a fortnight. They came into it very fresh. London under a lot of problems, a lot of injuries.
Last half minute.
Neat chip over the top, but it was far too long. Desperation again. They've had their chances, and I can't help but going back to midway through the second half, when the substitute Graham Steadman reefed the ball away, and he was penalised. Not only that, he was sent to the sin bin, and that was a turning point.
It's a turning point in a match that London Broncos have won. There's the final siren. 22 points to 13. London have won a really gutsy display in the second half, which produced tries for Edwards and White. And Barwick came on to kick 2 goals, and Terry Matheson kicked a couple as well. Great win for the London Broncos, who maintained their pursuit of Bradford at the top. Tony Curry celebrating the victory, a hard-earned victory, and both sides shaking hands. And Sean Edwards and Peter Gill thanking their small band of supporters who have travelled up the motorways to be with them tonight and see them home in this match at Weldon Road. They have won here then by 22 points to 13. And a reminder of what's still to come tonight on our 3 sports channels. Here at 9:30, it's World Sports Special, followed at 10 by a preview of the first weekend's football in the Sports Centre, and at 11 a new series of Hold the Back Page. Over on Sky Sports 2 now, Test highlights, day 2 of the 5th Ashes Test between England and Australia. That's followed at 10 with wrestling action in Raw. And finally, over on Sky Sports 3 at 9:30, golf from the European Tour, day 2 of the Czech Open. But after the break, we look back on a real gutsy display from the London Broncos and ask, what does this mean now in Castleford's quest for survival in Super League? And also name your man of the match. Effort by Castleford, but the victory belongs to London Broncos by 22 points to 13. Matheson, White and Edwards, 3 tries to 2, they've won it. And who's your man of the match? Well, it looks like they're all contenders from the Broncos. Roskill, Gill, 26%, and Edwards, well, 31%. Sean Edwards then has won it, although others picked up 33% of the vote. Incredible. But Sean Edwards is the winner by a little mile, and here he is now talking to Bill.
Sean, congratulations on winning the Man of the Match awards. It was always going to be a tough night after the schedule you've had. I should imagine winning this one must make that even more special.
Yeah, it was a massive game for us tonight. I think due credit to the cast, they've improved, you know, beyond compared to what there was at the start of the season. Certainly playing as a team, and it made it hard for us.
Just how weary were you out there? Because, as I say, you've had a really tough schedule.
I don't think it made that much difference, being honest. It's just the conditions. I mean, summer rugby, you've got to be fit to play it, otherwise you just forget it.
Well, you were fit. You were in there at the right place for the crucial try.
Yeah, you know, that's my game. We did a run around, which I called. Fortunately, Josh White put a superb ball out. I mean, I've got a very good combination with Josh White at the moment. Robbie Beasley made the half break, and I was backing up on the inside, and perfect pass from Robbie, and I was under the sticks. It was great, good team play, and it's good for me to finish it off.
Well done, Sean. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Man of the match, Sean Edwards, named by Julie Bell of Leeds. She wins the mini TV set, just as Sean wins the mini TV set. And London Broncos have, of course, made sure that the champagne, that no doubt is piled up to the ceiling at Odsal, stays on ice. Matthew Elliott, the Bradford Bulls. Have you got the champagne in, by the way?
No, mate, we haven't even been to the bottle shop yet. We're not that presumptuous, and we've got too much respect for the opposition that,
Absolutely.
In this Super League.
And no wonder, because London are making you fight every inch of the way.
Yeah, well, while it's still a possibility that we can't win the championship, we need to be on our guard, and with performances like that from London, we need to be especially aware.
Steve-O, the turning point was, according to you, Graham Steadman being put in the sin bin.
Without doubt, it was a big call by the referee, and I thought he only made 2 mistakes during the entire game, and unfortunately most of the fans will remember this. But once again, another good run from Terry Mattison. I thought he had a fine game, and the man who supports all the time, Edwards onto Martin, and here you see the ball being reefed away. Now then, was he in attendance, Brad Davis? He really wasn't. He was about an inch away, but it's very difficult. Remember, the referee was on the other side of where the ball is being ripped away. There's little doubt that he reefs it away there, but you can see that Davis went into the tackle, but he was not touching the man. It is a very, very hard call, but try convincing the Castleford fans over that. It was a shame, really, because I didn't think that any side deserved to lose. It was one of those games. A great effort from both sets of players.
Indeed so.
Very hard.
Indeed so. Let's take a look at what it means to the table. Well, there we are. London are now within 6 points of the Bradford Bulls at the top, but down at the bottom, well, time is beginning to run out for Castleford. They have 8 points from 19 matches. Oldham and Paris involved in vital games this weekend as well. And I think, Matthew, it's a question really that they are running out of matches, Castleford. They've got the bravery, they've got the effort, the endeavour, the spirit, but they haven't got the games.
I probably feel a little hardly done by tonight. I think there was probably a few key decisions that could have gone either way that didn't quite go their way, and they put in a lot of effort, and it's devastating when you put that amount of toil in and come up with no 2 points. So they'll have to regroup and get themselves ready for next week.
Well, they will. I think Steve made the point just before we came on the air as well, that Paris and Oldham have to play each other before the end of the season, so one of them looks like being safe.
Well, I guess the biggest Paris fans will be over here at Castleford, and there was a few Bradford Bulls fans here tonight, so I know who they were cheering for.
I noticed them, yeah, there was a few Bradford fans, all right, and I'm sure there'll be a few more Bradford fans at Odsal on Sunday when the big game comes along against the Leeds Rhinos. The match at Headingley was an absolute classic, and part 2, I'm sure, will be equally so. Bradford against Leeds then on Sunday at 6:30. You can join us, I trust, on Sky Sports for that. We won't see Matthew in the studio then, but we will see you on the touchline. It's been a pleasure as ever having you with us. Thanks very much for being here. Good luck on Sunday as well. I'm taking nothing away from Leeds, by the way, before we get the letters. Steve will be up for it as well. He'll get a new shirt by Sunday. It's been a warm night. It's been a warm night at Castleford. Well done, London. Hard luck, the Tigers. Bye-bye.